Today's video is about a college girl who went missing without a trace around what is now known as the Bennington Triangle. To this day, no one, including the authorities, has ever been able to determine what happened to her. If you are into these types of stories, at the end of the video, please go ahead and smash the like button and follow us so you don't miss any of our new content. On December 1st, 1946, a young college student by the name of Paula Jean Welden would begin hitchhiking along Route 9, also known as the Molly Stark Trail. She was on her way to a trail called the Long Trail, a 270-mile trail leading from Vermont's Green Mountains to the Canadian border. A local contractor by the name of Louis Knapp, who was on his way home from work, noticed Paula walking down the side of the road with her thumb out. As he stopped to offer her a ride, he recalled asking her where she was headed. She would respond that she was trying to make her way to the Long Trail, that she planned to go on a short hike. Later, he would recount that she wasn't really dressed appropriately for the cold weather, let alone to go on a hike at that time of year. She would get into his truck and he would drive her as far as his house, which sat along Route 9, just 2.5 miles from the entrance of the trail she planned to visit that day. As the truck came to a stop, Paula would jump out, thank Mr. Knapp for the ride, continuing on foot towards the trail. Little did Louis know he would be one of the last people to ever see Paula again. Paula Welden was a sophomore attending Bennington College, located in Bennington, Vermont. She was the stereotypical happy-go-lucky young woman who didn't really have any major family issues. She had a lot of close friends but was always able to avoid most drama. She was a very dedicated student who concentrated heavily on her studies. She was passionate about plants and wildlife, taking courses on botany, which in previous weeks had taken her to an area close to the Long Trail for a class project. She loved the outdoors, and this trip had excited something in her so much that on more than one occasion after, she had confided to her close friends about her desire to explore the local trails. On Sunday, December 1st, after she had finished 2 shifts at the Bennington College dining hall, Paula rushed back to her campus dormitory room at the Dewey House. She decided that today was the day that she was going to go explore one of the local trails. Excited about her decision to go, she went to her dorm room with the intent to change and head out on her adventure. However, her roommate Elizabeth Johnson was hanging out in their dorm room, so Paula sat for a while and talked with Elizabeth before finally heading out. At around 2:45 p.m. that day, several witnesses that knew Paula saw her hitchhiking along Route 9, heading towards the trailhead around Bickford Hollow. She was seen wearing a red coat, jeans, and sneakers. This was around the same time that Louis Knapp stopped and picked up Paula. It is believed that Welden either walked the rest of the way or hitchhiked another ride up to the trail's entrance in Woodford Hollow. Mr. Knapp's daughter would later tell the police that she went outside shortly after her dad returned home but saw no sign of Welden in either direction, noting that this was odd. She could see a considerable way down Route 9 and should have been able to easily see Paula walking. Later in the day, back at Bennington College, Elizabeth Johnson noticed that it was starting to get dark outside. She began to become concerned, though. She told herself that Paula had probably just gone to the library, as Paula had to finish studying for her finals that were coming up in the next few days. When she failed to return the next morning, however, Elizabeth's concern turned into fear that something bad could have happened, and immediately notified the college faculty that Paula was missing. The faculty, upon hearing this, they began a thorough search of the entire campus. They spoke to all of Paula's friends and other students that knew her, but there was no sign that Paula had come back to the campus at all. No one could recall seeing her return. After the search, the college president, Louis Webster Jones, would call Paula's father, William A. Welden, a well-known engineer and designer, to ask him if perhaps Paula had returned home. This call for the Weldens was obviously very alarming. At the news of her daughter's disappearance, Paula's mother, from the shock of the news, would faint. Vermont, in 1946, at the time of Welden's disappearance, didn't have a state police force. Mr. Welden knew this, so with the aid of Louis Webster Jones and Frank Chorn, the superintendent of buildings for Bennington College, they organized a massive search party in hopes of finding Mr. Welden's daughter. Louis Jones, for his part, closed the school down and employed the aid of all of the faculty members and all of the students in the search efforts. Mr. Welden and Mr. Chorn would pinpoint areas of interest for the search. In all, the county sheriff's office, the local fire station, the National Guard, and the Bennington County State's Attorney's Office were all called in to aid in the search efforts. Everyone scoured the area for weeks, but not a single trace of Paula was found. As the investigation moved forward, tons of leads came flowing in concerning the day of Paula's disappearance. One such lead came from a man named Danny Fager, who was working at the college entrance gas station at about 2:30 p.m. that Sunday afternoon. He noticed Paula walking down the road from the college heading towards Highway 67A. Mr. Fager noted that she had seemed to have taken a shortcut, turning off into some woods near the Bennington College entrance, walking to the top of a small hill, then running back down to the highway, where she headed towards the town of Bennington. Another account came from a man named Ernie Whitman, a night watchman at the Bennington Banner Building, the same building that a search party meeting was being held for the search of Paula. Ernie was cleaning up the floor of the press room when he happened to notice a picture of Paula Welden. Realizing he recognized the girl in the picture and where he remembered her from, he quickly talked to a group of reporters that were there. According to Mr. Whitman, Paula stopped him and his group of 3 friends, Stearns Rice, Mary Rice, and Lyman Royce, as they were heading back from camp at around 4 p.m. on December 1st in Woodford. She asked the group about the trail. Mr. Whitman recalled that he told Paula that they had only traveled 5 miles of the trail that day, but that it went as far up as Canada. Mr. Whitman had warned her that it was beginning to get dark and was supposed to get a lot colder in the next couple of hours, that there was a possibility it might snow. Paula had thanked them all, then resumed her hike along the trail, even after his warnings. Mr. Welden was in the Banner office when Mr. Whitman told reporters about seeing Paula. After overhearing the exchange between Mr. Whitman and the reporters, Mr. Welden was overcome with a renewed anxiety and wanted to start a new search immediately for his daughter. He obtained flashlights and enlisted the help from some of his friends that remained with him at the meeting. Mr. Welden, Frank Howe, and Feet Stevenson drove to Woodford, the last place Mr. Whitman said he had seen Paula. Upon arriving in Woodford, the group took to further questioning some of the local residents. Upon questioning, it was revealed that 3 people had seen the girl walking toward the long trail. The last of the eyewitnesses said they believed they had seen Paula near Hunter's Rest, a camp on the trail. They said they believed she was working her way slowly up Glastonbury Mountain, while a local Bennington taxi company driver, by the name of Abe Ruskin, told reporters that he had taken a college girl to the bus depot at 2:25 p.m. that Sunday afternoon. She met the description of Paula, but he couldn't be certain that it was in fact her. Local authorities by that time had established that there were 2 girls in the Long Trail vicinity at about the time that Paula was visiting the trail. This other woman matched Paula's exact description. One of the girls was alone, while the other was seen with a young man, the latter of the 2 traveling in a car. At least 2 reliable parties at the start of the trail reported to the authorities after seeing Paula's picture in the Banner Tuesday evening. They could say with almost absolute certainty that she was the girl they had seen on the main highway. Vermont State Investigator, Mr. Almo Franzoni, in a public statement regarding new evidence that was obtained through a search of the vicinity, that Paula Welden was dropped off by the local contractor Louis Knapp, stating that searchers discovered a pair of soiled, blood-stained pink panties lying among the heavy underbrush in a deep gully about 20 feet off the berm of Highway 9. Some 125 feet from Louis Knapp's home, where Paula had supposedly been dropped off to continue on her way. Though little hope was placed on the likelihood that the garment might have been Paula's, a thorough search of that area was performed by the local authorities. Investigators later discovered that one of the last people to see Welden alive was a lumberjack named Fred Gaudette, who lived along Harbor Road. Gaudette was in the midst of an argument with his girlfriend when Welden walked by. The argument ended abruptly when Fred stormed off in a jealous rage. According to various different statements that Fred himself made to the police, he went to his shack and spent the evening by himself. Another account Gaudette told investigators was that he drove up the travel portion of the trail where Welden was heading. Investigators determined that Gaudette lied to police on several occasions, making himself a person of interest, both in 1946 and when the case was reopened in 1952. Reportedly, Fred Gaudette told at least 2 people close to him that he knew within 100 feet of where Paula Welden was buried. Later, he recanted these claims, saying it was just something he made up. When authorities couldn't find any evidence that a crime had been committed, no body was discovered, and no forensic clues were identified, Fred Gaudette was cleared, and the investigation ended. As the evidence obtained during the investigation and all the searches for Paula came up with no new leads to go on, Mr. Welden began to show signs of frustration and anger over the lack of any new developments. Mr. Welden publicly, in an over-the-air rant, pointed out that the lack of a statewide law enforcement organization and the lack of training of local sheriffs contributed to a poorly run investigation, leading to the failure of finding his daughter alive or dead. The mysterious circumstances leading to Paula's disappearance baffled everyone. This led to numerous theories and speculation over what could have happened. Some believed she had fallen and succumbed to the elements. Others whispered of foul play, suggesting she might have been abducted or was met with an accident. A few even posited that she had simply run away, seeking a new life beyond the confines of her college town. The mystery deepened, with the lack of any physical evidence, no footprints, no clothing, no personal belongings. Interviews with friends and family painted a picture of a young woman content with her life, making the runaway theory less plausible. The rugged terrain of the long trail, with its dense forests and hidden crevices, offered countless hiding places for a body, yet exhaustive searches turned up nothing. In the absence of any answers, the residents of Bennington were left to grapple with their imaginations. One chilling theory emerged, involving a series of disappearances over the years, between 1945 and 1951, in the so-called Bennington Triangle, an area known for inexplicable vanishings and strange occurrences. Was Paula another victim of this eerie phenomenon, or was her fate sealed by human hands? The lack of closure haunted the community and Paula's family. Her parents, devastated by the loss, never stopped searching for answers, going as far as to hire private investigators and psychics in a desperate bid to find their daughter. Despite these efforts, Paula Jean Welden's fate remained elusive. Decades have passed since that fateful day in 1946, but the story of Paula Jean Welden continues to captivate true crime enthusiasts and paranormal investigators alike. Her disappearance remains one of New England's most enduring mysteries, a tragic tale of a young woman's life cut short, leaving behind only questions and the haunting specter of what might have been. The case of Paula Jean Welden exemplifies how a true crime story can evolve into a legend, shrouded in mystery and speculation, drawing in those who seek to uncover the truth. If you like this story and would like to hear more, don't forget to like and share this video, and follow us to be notified of new content as it becomes available.